Shawn Cruz of TD Ameritrade is here for the Trader Rundown. And Shawn, we've really been paying a lot of attention to the VIX lately, especially with earnings coming up. What's your take?
The VIX has been quite interesting just throughout the year. We saw a pretty good range being established around 12 and up to that 18, 19 handle. I was a little surprised to see VIX go down into the last weekend with those tariffs getting imposed. And then on Monday, when we started to see some retaliations, VIX still remained low. Finally got a little bit of an increase as there was additional tariffs proposed earlier on in the week. So it looks like the VIX starting to rise a little bit, but it looks like there still could be room to run. And we've just seen a lot of activity, particularly on the call side in VIX going into earnings season. So I think VIX is going to be something to keep an eye on because it'll react to both just the pace of earnings, especially the banks, and then it'll also react to any expectations for an increase in the global trade tariff talks as well.
You are actually watching the trade in Citigroup, which is coming up with earnings. Yes. What do you see?
Citigroup, they have earnings coming up. We're seeing a lot of activity at those 62.5 puts, which is a pretty far out of the money relative to right now what the options are pricing in. The options are pricing in about a $2 move in either directions for Citi post earnings, but this is pretty far out of the money on the downside. So some pretty interesting activity down there on the puts at that 62.5 level.
And then IBM is also on your list.
Saw a big institutional buyer in Europe come out, said they accumulated a position. On the back of that, we saw a lot of what I think is speculative call activity in there. It was right at the 145 strike, and that was around where IBM was trading when that news came out. So typically when you see that activity in one strike, slightly at or just out of the money on some sort of bullish news story like that, that typically indicates that there's a little bit more of a speculative trade going on in there.
Thanks so much for the Trader Talk today.
Thank you.
Check out businessfirstam.com to find out where to see our entire show. And don't forget to like, follow, and share Business First AM.